Hey y'all, I really don't like getting serious on TikTok and I really do not like long videos. But this is just something that's been weighing on my heart and my mind for a couple weeks. A couple weeks ago, something happened to me within a relationship and it really just opened my eyes as to like how hurtful men are. I've known that for quite some time, but it's like men are so hurtful with no remorse, no care in the world. Like they don't they don't give a fuck. And it's just becoming a little much for me. Last night was the nail in the coffin though. I'm not doing a story time because I'm just not gonna do that. But men are just so hurtful and it's like I no longer have a desire to get in a relationship. I no longer have the desire to get married. Damn near about to give up on my dreams of becoming a mom one day. Like I can't deal with it anymore, you guys. And I know y'all gonna be like, oh, take a break. I took a break all this year. I took a break all this year. I done read the self help books. I done watched Shira Seven. It's like I actually want the love. I don't want to. You get what I'm saying? Like I don't want to use a man for money. Like don't want to just use him for what he can do for me, even though that's what they do to us. I just don't want to do that. It should not be this difficult. It's like I'm not trying to have a disdain for men. I'm not trying to be a misandrist. I'm not trying to H word men again, but it's like, how could you not? They are so hurtful. They are disrespectful, disloyal, rude, selfish. Think about nobody but themselves. And I'm sure there are some good men out there. I met one before. One. You guys are gonna say, "Oh, maybe it's you," because I know the men are gonna come in and just put it all back on me. They're gonna completely dismiss my feelings and put it back on me. I'm used to it. I'm the one actually in therapy working through things and stuff like that. You get what I'm saying? Having to go to therapy for people who won't go to therapy or who don't see any wrong in their behavior. God, I can't do it no more, you guys. I don't wanna be involved with men anymore. So I think it's just time for me to just really focus on myself 103,000%. Like really just strictly lock in on everything that I want to do. Everything I want to do. I don't have time for the games. I don't have time to get my heart broken again. I don't have time to be pulling up on you. Like I don't have time to be finding addresses and stuff like that anymore. I don't have time. But just I can't take it anymore, you guys. It took everything in me last night not to cry, but it's like I feel defeated. Y'all got it. Y'all got it.
Hi guys, it's Hope K and welcome back to my channel, and we've got another video for you today. I won't lie, this brought tears to my eyes. It really did. I saw it a few weeks ago and I felt it to the core of me, because when it hasn't been me personally, it's been a friend of mine. It's been a cousin. It's been a sister. It's been a friend of a friend. I, man, I don't know what y'all are doing, but please listen to these women. This is us crying out. We need y'all to stop, man. We need y'all to do better. You are killing us out here, man. Just ending up with a bunch of goats. Oh wait, that's a good thing. No, 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 no. A bad thing. I mean it like in my language, eh? Mbuzi, right? Oh, a big one, a big mbuzi. It's not even a small goat. It's a big mbuzi. Chimbuzi. This is all we're getting from men. Okay, guys, basically, I just said a big goat, a big stinky, smelly one, but it's funny in my language. Trust me, take my word for it. Yo, if you guys are not bilingual, trilingual, and etc., you'll are missing out. But anyway, without further ado, let's get into it.
This is true. That's why you must take your emotions out of it when dealing with a man. Don't be vulnerable, don't be gullible, and don't be delusional. Take everything at face value and never pour more into a man than he's pouring into you. Because at the end of the day, man's going to do what's best for them. It will destroy you and move on what they like. That's why you got to stay in your power, protect your peace, and release attachment. Don't never give a man power over you. Because at the end of the day, man will leave you in the desert with no water. And that's a fact.
So I learned this lesson last year, and it's one I recommend everyone learn sooner rather than later. Just yesterday, a friend called me having a panic attack in her car because her boyfriend had called her an hour before and said that he loved her, all of these nice things, and that his family can't wait to meet her for Thanksgiving. An hour and a half later, and this is no exaggeration on the timeline, called her back and said that he's a high value man and that he can do better than her, but she will never be able to do better than him, and that is over, and then hung up before she could even say anything. I've had friends where their date will leave in the middle of the date while they're in the bathroom. I've had friends whose boyfriends will break up with them on their birthday, on days of death, on graduation, boyfriends taking other girls on their birthday trip. And this is just the last year. This is just 2023. Personally, when this happened to me, I decided that I was going to take the next year to not date anybody, and it was the best decision that I could have ever made for myself. I accomplished every single goal that I had this year. Just bought a new car, about to move into a beautiful apartment, happiest I've ever been, more peace than I've ever felt. I'm surrounded by so many different types of love that I don't really feel like anything's missing. And that's not to say that I'll never date again. I'm literally sure that I will. But as a girl who has high standards and values, you cannot vet for a man blindsiding you. I consider myself like very like in the know, and it happened to me. Even looking back now, I'm like, I could have never predicted that. Be careful, invest in yourself. Just invest in yourself. The right person will come along, but be very picky. Do not let everybody just date you. It is not worth it. It is not worth your peace. It is not worth your time. Don't do it.
Tender age of 15, I realized what men really are when my high school boyfriend, who I'd been dating throughout the whole of high school, decided to take a stranger who he had given barely 15 words to prom instead of me, knowing fully well that obviously nobody else will ask me, just to shame me, to make me feel hurt, whatever the purpose was. I took a key lesson from that. That number one, the idea that you're looking for happiness or fulfillment from a relationship will be the downfall of most women. At the end of the day, love and Prince Charming might not happen for everybody. But you know what can always happen for you? Happiness, because you're in charge of that. When you go to bed at night and it's your friend or your family members that made you happy, you're not thinking, oh my God, I wish it was a man that made me happy. No, you're going to bed happy regardless. Even the ones that are good until it serves them no more. Do you understand? Many of them anyways, not all of them. But we already know it's a game. So at this point, I really feel like we should just start being selfish. You've heard this.
She ain't lying. Some of these niggas is just dreadful. They're horrible. They're horrible people. They're horrible people. And it ain't always about discernment, to be honest, because you can never really know what somebody's going to do. You can only trust them 99%. There's always that 1% chance that they'll do you shiesty. And it's even worse when it comes out the blue. It's even worse when it comes from somebody you didn't expect it from. However, I will say there are always signs. There are always signs. Like the girls who say they were with somebody and then out of the blue some shit happened. Okay? I think it is so rare that the shit is completely out of the blue. Like this man probably has been giving you hints since you met him of what type of person he is and how he moves with you. If a man tells you how he acted in his past relationships, but he's different with you, that's a sign. That's a sign, okay? If he do something or say something a little off color, that's a sign. He joked too much about something, that's a sign. These are signs, and if you let them pass you up, you might be the next victim.
Also, I just want to say you're going to want to save this and favorite it for later. Share it to your Delulu friend, not who's being Delulu in a positive way, but Delulu about y'all know who. Now, the key is to find a man that likes what you like, because a man is going to choose himself first every time. Even if he's sacrificing for his family, it's because he wants and gets credit and feels good about sacrificing for his family. It's always going to be for him. You have to understand that. So get a man who likes what you like. That way, when he's choosing himself, you're just a byproduct of his choice and you benefit too. Harsh? Maybe. Truth? Yes. Now, there have been studies on men from neuroscience to biology to psychology to religion to everything. And this is what they say collectively about them. Men take, women give. So if men are going to go around taking and you are putting yourself on the chopping block to be taken from because you want to give, this is how you offset that, okay? And I'm going to repeat myself. Find a man who likes what you like. That way when he is serving him, you get the service, okay? Let's say you like traveling and a man who plans trips. Are you going to go find a man who never been nowhere before and try to talk him into and leverage your worth against his inability to be able to plan a trip? Or are you going to go find a man who likes what you like so you can benefit? A man who loves to travel, a man who has so many itineraries planned for the next year and who wants to see you? No. You know what usually happens? You find a man who's not interested in you at all, who doesn't want to do the things that you want to do, and then you leverage your worth against it. And then you cry and you call your friends and you say, why isn't he doing this? Why isn't he doing that? He must not care. No, he cares about himself more. They always will. They always will. Now, you don't see me being woe is me. Somebody help me, please, because I understand it now. And now that I understand it, I'm trying to help y'all understand too. And what I've seen happen is that women don't take accountability. Again, this is not from a pick-me-sha standpoint. This is an empowerment moment. Women don't take accountability and responsibility for the fact that you're a woman. If you are around a man, remove yourself. You want us to hold your hand and say, I know you're sad. I know you're this. I know you're that. I know it's hard. No, baby. No. That's over with, because women who have experienced this understand that you're choosing to torture yourself. We know that. So you can't play the woe is me shit no more. This is a choice, baby. It's America. Even if you're outside of America, you're in a world where you're a woman. And all you have to do is start focusing on yourself. I don't want to hear men are selfish and men are hurtful and men are hateful. They are. They are. But what are you if you're dealing with them in the way that you are? Oh, I'm just a people pleaser. Like, what are you? Ask that question again. If men are all these things and you're dealing with them, what are you? And why are you doing it? Which brings me to my next point. You have to turn that energy inward. This creator said multiple times, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. I don't want to deal with men like this. I just feel like that. Exactly. You don't want to play the game. You want to recreate it and pretend that it doesn't exist. And that's not serving you. There's a lot of creators on here who tells you and teaches you about men. They do. Y'all will quote them and say y'all don't want to do it. Y'all still would like to believe the fairy tale that you painted in your head. And it's not working. It's not working.
So this summer, I read Adult Children of Emotionally Immature Parents, and something that this creator said in her video reminded me of this book. It talks about the difference between internalizers versus externalizers. So the men that are super hurtful with no remorse that she's speaking about in her video are the externalizers. And instead of like a normal person internalizing your anxiety and pain, depression, they act it out and they push it onto other people. When they have to face the consequences of their actions, they usually use denial to avoid those feelings of shame. As a result of that denial, they repeatedly feel these hits of low self-worth and a sense of feeling bad. But to avoid total self-hatred, they rid themselves of shame by blaming other people, making excuses, and blaming external factors. So the reason why these people never grow is because as soon as that shame hits, they need to immediately feel better by shifting the blame onto someone else. And the only way to grow and learn and feel peace is by addressing that trauma that's so built up, sitting with the discomfort and learning from it. But because these people are essentially running from themselves, they will never do that. So please, if it's one thing that you take from this video, do not take another person's destructive behavior towards you personally, because I promise you they are just acting out what they feel inside, which is chaos.
As somebody who has horror stories, dating horror stories for literally days, guys are starting to get a little bit more evil with the way they do things. And by all means, I'm not a misandrist like she was saying in the video. I think men are awesome. I've had some great men in my life. But truly, there is something about the way that guys go about things nowadays that it's really hurtful. And it does make me feel like marriage will never be a thing for me. And if you know me, I love marriage. But like, I don't know if it'll be a thing because some of the things that the guys do are just so unhinged. And by all means, I'm not perfect, but like one thing that I love that she said in the video is like, I'm not perfect, but I'm going to therapy. I'm writing in my journals. I'm trying to heal. And I just feel like guys don't do that. And then everything is now put on us. And I'm tired of it. And it is exhausting.
Someone else stitched this video and said, you cannot vet for a man blindsiding you. And I think that's a factor that a lot of men don't like for us to talk about. They always try to say, oh, there had to have been signs. No, Not always. Like sometimes a guy really is perfect. It's perfect. I'm not saying this is the case 100% of the times. Yes, sometimes there are glaring red flags, and sometimes there are more subtle flags that maybe you still could have caught. But a lot of the times, these things come out of absolutely nowhere. But whether you're blindsided or you saw the signs, the best thing you can do for yourself is still leave. Take a page out of men's book called Self Preservation and leave anything that doesn't serve you. Never get too invested. The moment he hits the switch on you, hit the door. Get out.
And then you come on here and you tell your story and you get gaslit. The men are like, oh well, you should have chose better. Where are the good options at? Where are they at? Because I don't see none. I don't see any. So what do you want me to do? So what do we have to do? We have to, be self-sufficient, extremely self-sufficient, extremely independent, because you can't depend on y'all for nothing. And I'm not even trying to come from a place of I hate men, but it's just the reality. There's too many people, women in general, but specifically black women, coming on this app constantly saying the same thing, having no faith that they'll find their partner because of how vile men and their brethrens are. What are we doing? What are we doing? When is this gonna stop? Dating and getting to know people shouldn't be this hard. It shouldn't. We're grown. I'm gonna be 27 in March. We are grown. We all got stuff to do and bills to pay. What are we doing? What are we doing? Like she said, there's more women who are in therapy. I'm in therapy too. And the women specifically are putting in that extra work to work on themselves so they can be the best partner for them and not even for just their partner, for their friends, for their family, depending on, situation, you know what I'm saying? But, it's all situational. But people, specifically black women, are going to therapy, trying to unpack their traumas, trying to be a better person, trying to do right by people, just to get frigged over time and time and time again. Who has the time and energy for that?
Whew, child. Listen, I have not been in the dating world like that. So I am fairly new to this. I do not know. I did not know that you guys are going through these levels of struggle. Like, this is insane. I say that, but I've had my little taste of problems. I really don't want to come across as if I'm taking dumps on men, but these are the things that are like in front of me, in my face, my day-to-day experiences, and I get curious and I'm interested in talking about them. So please, disclaimer, men, do not feel like this is about, taking dumps on you. This is about us as a community learning our mistakes and growing from them. And these women have complained. There are videos and videos and videos of women doing story times of men just doing them gangster, and it's like, what is the reason? For real, like, can somebody answer me what is the reason? Because you're men are so funny to me because they want younger women. They're so much easier to deal with. Apparently they have less baggage or whatever, so you want these 23-year-olds, like early 20s or late teens, if you're we won't talk about that, but yeah, that's kind of like the range of women that men want or find ideal. And it's mostly because they don't have what they're calling baggage, right? I've watched enough videos to kind of make a rough guesstimate of what these men are talking about or what they want. But yeah, so that's the age bracket that they want. But the thing is, they'll get these women and then treat them like trash. You treat them so badly that they're wounded. They've got these real scars. You impregnate some of them, but you don't even stay around to build actual homes with them. You've got multiple of these women as well. You're running rampant out in the streets like no man's business. You're just creating chaos, and not just for that woman, but now for the family at large, for the children that are born, and then the cycle continues. What do you want? And then now, when you're ready to settle down in your late 30s, 40s, or whatever, you can't find these women because they're all damaged, they're all broken. Your ideal woman doesn't exist anymore. And now at 40, if you're going to be with an 18-year-old, you're looked at sus. Okay, so now you've ruined life for yourself. Like, what is the reason? You don't want men treating your sisters like trash. You don't want men treating your mom like trash. But you're out here doing that. And then you go, I've got an ex here, trash. He wanted a daughter so badly. And I just wonder, like, Why do you want a daughter this bad? You're not good with women. What are you going to do? And he will say stuff like how he's ready to kill any man for his daughter. It's ridiculous. That's how someone else feels about the child that you're with, the person that you impregnated and then left for dead. That's some man ran out there has this much love for this person. Like, treat them better, do better, or leave people alone. But anyway, that's my rant done for the day. I do have bonus footage if anybody wants to watch this. It's a woman who is going in talking about why men are in the right, I guess, in this situation, or what women don't really understand about men. It's worth listening to, but I just added it as bonus footage because somebody's gonna get their feelings hurt. And I wanna get my little airtime before you guys get vexed. So anyway, I will leave you here, and I hope you guys have a good, fantastic rest of your day, and stay safe out there. Remember, there's a bunch of crazies, and your crazy doesn't match them. So stay safe. Cheerio.
I don't want to be involved with men anymore.
Okay, y'all, I've seen this video stitched up and down my entire timeline. A lot of women are talking about this young lady's video, and I listened to it from beginning to end. I feel her frustration. She's given up hope on dating and men in general. Well, specifically, let's just say black men, because I don't want to speak on all men right now. I want to speak on black men because I'm a black woman. But I want to give y'all some tips. I've been saying this same shit repeatedly year after year. I got a whole YouTube channel. I've had my YouTube channel for about 7 years. Thousands of videos on narcissistic behavior, sociopathic behavior, psychopathic behavior, Machiavellian behavior in black men. When will you ladies listen and follow through? Okay. There's two types of black women. There are those of us that are empathetic, and we're not narcissists. We don't have the full-blown disorder. Everybody has the traits. We live in a narcissistic society. Most of us come from toxic, dysfunctional families where our parents and grandparents were narcissistic. So it naturally, we're going to pick up the traits from being around that type of energy. But as you become a grown woman and you pull away, you break away from your family and you venture out into the world, you start becoming friends and getting into romantic relationships with people with the same personality as the toxic individuals that raised you. That's why you keep jumping from toxic relationship to toxic relationship. You haven't broken the pattern because you will not break free from the same individual that raised you. That's your original hater. That's your original bully. It starts with mom and dad. It starts in the childhood. When you're able to cut them off and set boundaries, then take your ass to therapy and go heal. And healing is a lifelong thing. It's never ending. Don't ever think there's a deadline. Healing is ongoing and it's forever. Okay. Your perspective on dating will change once you begin the process of healing. Now, how do you heal from jumping from one toxic relationship to the next? I'll tell you. It is in celibacy, staying celibate, not for a year, years. Okay. Being self-disciplined. When you cut off those toxic relationships with your family members and you understand just how sick and sadistic your mother and father was and how they groomed you and prepared you to fail at life by setting you up to get into relationships with narcissistic men. But a lot of y'all will not cut off mommy and daddy. A lot of y'all are scared to cut off the very same person that groomed you like a piece of meat and fed you to the wolves. Because your parents know that that abuser is going to destroy your life. And where are you going to go? Once you get out that toxic relationship, most of us run back to mommy and daddy for refuge. And they're the sick individuals that train and program us to begin with, to get in these toxic relationships. Cut mommy, daddy, family members off. They're sick and they're never going to change. And they, in a very sick, twisted way, they want to see you fail in relationships just so they could sit back and say, what's wrong with you? You can't keep a man? Your family has got to go. I know it's hard to cut them off, but that's the key to all your problems. You can't even deal with these men or talk about relationship issues until you deal with the fucking culprit that groomed you, prepared you, and set you up to fail in those fucking relationships. Your mammy, your daddy, your grandparents. But we ain't ready to talk about that because y'all scared to cut them the fuck off. I cut my family off 10, 15 years ago, unapologetic, never looked back. It's changed my perspective. Y'all want to know why I'm so headstrong and I don't play about these fucking men? Because I learned to deal with the root of my problems. It came from my mother and father. And with them out of my life, I'm able to raise my discernment. I'm able to see better. I'm able to stay celibate and maneuver and spot toxic people a mile the fuck away, not just toxic men, people in general. I can read through them. My discernment is wicked. So when you do start to heal and you feel like you want to get back out into the dating game, listen to me. Those first couple of dates, those first 2 to 3 dates, if he even makes it to the third date, you should be asking serious questions. Serious. This ain't time to be acting cute. A lot of y'all be so in love with the ideal that you're being wined and dined that you miss the whole point of the dating and vetting process. And it is true. You know, no matter how well you vet a man, he still can blindside you even if you do everything correctly. So what you need to be looking for in those first couple of dates is inconsistency, study his body language, and you ask questions about the mental. How do you feel about being screened for narcissistic personality disorder? How do you feel about antisocial personality disorder? Have you been screened for it? What is your relationship like with your mother? Tell me about your father. Was he in your life? Get that shit out the way and then you study him. Because once he realizes that you ain't about no bullshit, he's reading you and studying you too. He's studying you on those dates to see if you're a fucking dummy. But if you get on top of your shit and you start asking very specific questions that make him fucking uncomfortable, he will give himself away. He'll give himself away early. And the moment he shows you the first red flag, any sign of inconsistency, cut, block, silently walk away. There's no need to argue. There's no need to call him out for it. No need to explain yourself. You don't need closure. These men know exactly what they're doing. They're very calculated. Narcissists, sociopaths, psychopaths are calculated. They've done this to several women. It's textbook. They get it out the playbook. So you explaining yourself does nothing. Leave silently. Let him believe that he still has you right where he wants you, and you're long gone. He's blocked, all access denied. You got to cut at the first red flag. Now, if you're not ready to date and you're not ready to have sex, don't do it because it's vicious out here. But someone like myself that's done the work, done the healing inside and out, I'm very happy. I'm very self-aware. If I don't have a man for the rest of my life, I'm content with that. But I know how to date like a fucking beast. And I will let a dude know I'm on to him without opening my mouth. I will give signals and cues to let him know just how fucking aware I am and that he's not going to get away with shit. And I'll walk away silently and I'll have him believing that he'll have another chance with me and I done blocked him. If you want to avoid being played by a narcissist, you need to get more vigilant on those first couple of dates and stop being scared to ask those questions about his mental health. What's his relationship like with his mama? Because if she's a piece of trash, she's controlling, she babies him, coddles him, or he lives with her, or he lives down the street from her, you're in trouble. Get to the nitty gritty at the very beginning. Make him uncomfortable. You got to let him know that you ain't about the bullshit. And he will test you. And once he tests you, that's where you disappear and you stand on business. And that's how you eliminate narcissistic men before you attach to them, before that trauma bond sets in. Because that's what he's trying to do initially in the beginning. He's trying to establish that trauma bond. He has to do that through love bombing and intermittent reinforcement. Stop him in his tracks. The first couple of dates, you can do it. It'll sting your ego a little bit when he switches up on you, but that's the sign you need. Cut, delete, move on. If you can date like that, you'll be able to handle these narcissistic men. Otherwise, stay out the game. Don't even jump in there. You're gonna if you are not ready to process, the ego of being rejected or him switching up on you, you don't belong in a dating game. It's nasty out here. And don't sleep with him unless you want to sleep with him. That's another thing too. I should do a part 2 on this, but I just had to jump on this stitch because I see a bunch of women talking about it. Don't let that change your heart and who you are. There's good guys out there, but it's like finding a needle in a haystack. Otherwise, if you're going to date, you got to date with a vengeance. You got to be cutthroat with it. And you got to let these dudes know up front. You try anything, you blink wrong, you're out of here. Have a blessed day, y'all.